Hello people, we're back again. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about something very interesting. In my previous video, I said I was going to make a video on some of the documents that you need for your scholarship applications and for your postgraduate degree applications. So today I'm going to focus on the motivation letter and statement of purpose. Wondering what is motivational letter and what is SPO. Personally, I liken them to be the same thing because some schools can call it motivational letters, while some schools will call it statement of purpose. But then it's all together encompasses the same information. Your motivational letter or SPO does, as a student, you express to the school's admissions committee why you are interested in the course you want to study. Which problem do you want to solve through this course? What happened in your life that is making you to solve this problem? Why this course you want to study? Now, it doesn't just end there. It also encompasses your work experience. You should be able to tell the school the things you've been doing before to solve this problem. Now, it can start with your work experience. It could start with your bachelor's degree. Now, your bachelor's degree in line with this problem you want to solve, this course you propose to study in your postgraduate studies, everything should have a connection. Now, that connection is what makes it realistic. For instance, you can't study computer science, then you want to do something in health, medicine, almost not in the same line. So when you study something like computer science, maybe you want to be able to do cyber security, to do software engineering. These are the important things. Like I said, your bachelor's degree should be connected to your goal. But apart from that too, your work experience is also part of the things you've been doing before now. Your work experience should also be connected to, but it doesn't mean all your work experience should be connected, but then by the time you're writing this essay, you should be able to pick out the work experience that are connected to the degree you want. For instance, you study computer engineering and then you have volunteering in technical assistance or software engineering, internships in IT, and this is the line which are going to be very powerful tools for your applications and is going to help you in your applications. So now you should make sure that your work experience also has a connection with the course. And these are very important things because the admissions committee, they want to see that connection. They want to see that you do not just wake up to this idea that there's a connection to it. It gives your statement of purpose that power and authenticity. It must be connected this switch a field or career. But these are also important things that you have to highlight in your motivational letter and statement of purpose. You have to tell the admission committee why the switch, what happened, what caused the switch, what happened in your life, what's the incident that made you to decide to go to leave this particular career path to this other career path. If you have talents, if there are things you've done, you should also have it there. You should also be able to specify, for instance, if you've had awards, you've done some special things in the past, the statements of purpose should be able to have these things in it. Another important thing is that your statement of purpose should be able to talk about the school. You shouldn't just write the statement of purpose about yourself, the things you want to do, the goals you want to win in life. You should also come back to the school. How has the school affected this goal? Where does this school come in? Where does the course come in? Why is it the school you're choosing for this course? How many other schools can be doing the same course? Why did you choose this school? These are also the things you need to highlight in your statement of purpose. You talk about the school. They want to hear you talk about them. They want to know your perception about them. How do you see the school? You should also talk how you're the best candidates. Let me dive into the beginning. Generally, if you're writing a motivational letter, these are the things you need to actually highlight. There are structures for writing statement of purpose, like the structure I already told you works. There are other structures. But then, in the beginning of your statement of purpose or motivational letter, you should be able to craft an identity. What do I mean by craft an identity? Let me say, for instance, you're applying to a school in Australia to know the culture. Like the people reading your motivational letter or your statement of purpose, what are they like? What kind of English do they understand? If you write NYSC, will they understand? They will not understand. If you say primary school, if you say secondary school, if you say high school, which one will they understand? These are the things you should first look at. First, understand your audience. Now, the school you're writing to, the culture, their environment, it helps you understand how they will judge your letter, and they help you understand the languages you should use. Use terms and languages. So you don't write a letter that your readers, they don't even understand. Like it fails to convey the information, the field statement of purpose or motivational letter. So you should be able to write a letter that conveys the information the way you want it to be conveyed. Now, that is the first thing. You should be able to understand your audience. It helps you to know the kind of terminologies. Mind you, you're not supposed to use jargons or big grammar. It should be as simple as possible because they have loads of essays to read. Craft your identity. Now, how do you want them to see you? What kind of personality do you want them to see you as? Is what you should create. You should be able to ask yourself, why are you pursuing this scholarship? Why the scholarship? Why the course? And these are the things that help you mold your identity. You should be able to answer these questions. Like, why this particular course? Why this school? You understand? What problem do you want to solve? What challenges are you interested in solving? You should also be able to answer questions like, what are the things you're passionate about? What drives you? What are your goals? What have you been through? Like, growing up, what are the things you passed through? You should also be able to find out your outstanding leadership qualities. What are the things you're good in? These things, it helps you craft yourself, like, your identity, because now, if you know the force, the things you're driven to, the things you want to achieve, if you the problem you intend to solve when you pursue this course, it helps you. You're not lost. You know where you're going to exactly. Like, you don't just start writing this personal statement without a goal. Okay, now when you find out all these things, you decode the question. What's the question they ask you? The question they asked you, you have to decode it. Now you decode it, linking it to this problem you want to solve. Decode it according to the way you want to solve this problem. You should be able to decode the question, because trust me, if you don't understand the question, you can't answer it. So you should be able to decode the question they ask you, know what they want. Like I was saying, the last part of your motivational letter should always be like you selling off yourself, you telling the schools why they should admit you, things you're good in, not really things you're good in, how you be of benefit to them. Now it should be like two-way sides. You're gaining from the school, you're getting the knowledge, you're getting the scholarship from the school. So what do the school gain from you? Now that's what you bring it up. You should be able to sell yourself. Say things that are interesting about you, and then when you're ending your essay, you should be able to connect the beginning of your essay to the last. I'm going to give you an example. Let me say you started your essay telling a story about how your childhood, how things in your childhood limited you, and how the course is going to be of help. So when you're ending it, you should be able to link it up, bring the first story and the last story, make it link. Now that's the connection. It makes your essay to flow from beginning to end. It shouldn't at any point lack the flow. It should always be consistent. I'm going to explain this again. I'm going to share my essay to explain this. First of all, your motivational letter should contain your bachelor studies. So as a postgraduate applicant, your motivational letter should contain your bachelor studies. It should contain voluntary works you've done. If you've done any voluntary works, your motivational letter should contain it. If you have any work experience, voluntary jobs, it should be your motivational essay. If you belong to unions, which is not compulsory, but it could be a bonus, it should be in your motivational letter. Then you should be able to tell the school why you want to study the program. These things should be in your motivational letter. Be able to pinpoint your goals, no matter how small or no matter how big they are. The main thing is make it realistic, something that every other person can relate to. Your motivational essay should have the problem you would like to solve. This problem you want to solve should be in your motivational letter. Should be find professors in that school. These are very important things. It gives you an edge, gives you a better opportunity to scale through. You should find in that course you're trying to apply, you should be able to research more in the school, go to the department, find out professors, look into their research works, their publications, look for the ones that are connected to what you want to study, that are connected to what you want to do. Now, these are very important things. You can talk about them in your motivational letter. You can say, this work motivated me. I would like to work with this person when I come to the school. It means you've researched about them, about the department, a good head. It means that you've studied them, you've gone through the school, you've looked into the things that they do, even to the extent you found yourself a mentor. You should talk about the school. You should praise the school. Don't ever miss it. You should talk good things about the school. What is the unique thing about the school? Now, these are the things that help the school to know that you've done a thorough research on them. So what's the unique thing about the school? What's the school's ranking? You understand? What's the history of the school? What facilities do the school have and other schools don't have? What's their extracurricular activities like? What do they do? What's their clubs, their social gatherings like, their unions, their games? What do they have that other schools don't have? You should be able to talk about these things about the school things that are interesting about the school. What is the interesting thing? What's interesting you about the school? What is attracting you to the school? You should be able to talk about them. You praise the school. You can talk about, oh, that the school has a good cafe. You can say you like the games they do. There is a particular sport you like in the school. You can talk about the school environment. You can talk about their libraries. You can talk about their facilities. You can talk about their student union body. Praise the school. That's what you talk about. You should talk about this. When you talk about this, you should talk about that. Oh, this school is outstanding. It will help me. Talk about how the school is connected to you, how it's going to help you in your career and stuff. You should talk about why they should pick you, why you're a good match for the course, why are you better than the rest. These are things you should not miss to talk about. Praise yourself. In no way you should talk bad about yourself. You should be able to say good things about yourself. You should never miss it, because even if you were not good in school, even if your grades were low, don't ever talk about it. Don't talk short about yourself. You should bring yourself to that limelight. Talk of yourself in a good way. So no matter how it is, even if it's a bad record, you should be able to twist it to make it to become an advantage to you. So you should always talk about yourself in a good way. I'm going to run down one of my motivational letters. Now, I wrote different motivational letters, obviously, to different courses for different schools. But I'm going to run down one. Now, this was a motivational letter for a master's program in rural development. Apparently, I didn't study anything agriculture or rural development, but because I'm someone that is interested in sustainable development, so I felt like, okay, a master's in rural development is going to be obtainable, and then having a discipline in international relations, since it's about international activities, it's going to be a good fit for me. So now, in the beginning, I didn't start with any quotes or anything. What I did, I started with something concerning my background. I talked about, so when I looked at the course, first of all, I had to go through the course, read things about the course. I figured it had something to do with agriculture, it had something to do with development, land use and stuff. Now, I have to break it down. I have to talk about agriculture in my country. I have to talk about how our economy started with agriculture. Our economy initially was based in agriculture, but then we drift. And then I talked about how the sustainability of agriculture could be a way forward for economic sustainability in Nigeria. Poverty level in Africa, how African countries are topping the charts in the list of the poorest nations in the world. So if you notice, the first thing I did was I started with the story of my childhood. I did not just start anyhow, so I had to bring it down home. So I had to tell them a story of how this thing is personal to me. You have to think about the story. That's the first thing. That's what I would advise you. Think about the story. What has happened to you in your life? What is that thing in your childhood you can link to that course? Now, you picked the course, you've picked the institution, you have to link this thing. You've read about the course, everything about the course, which is very important. You should read about it. It helps you to know how you're going to write your motivational letter, because you're supposed to use the key points in your course. You have to include them. You should be conscious of it, because as you're writing this essay, they should be to bring in my course, studying history and international relations, how it exposed me to the development of the world. I brought in my course, how my course is going to be an advantage to me, because now my course has given me an exposure to this course. That's where I said you need to bring in your bachelor degrees. Now, as I brought it, I talked about how my course helped me to understand these development policies. I talked about it because I'm talking about something that concerns rural development. So I have to talk about how my educational background balances the course I want to do. Now, these are things you need to do. You need to start with this story. Now, bringing your course into it. The story is the problem. The story highlights the problem you're trying to solve. The studies you've done, or the work experiences, or the volunteering is like what you've been doing before now to solve this problem. Now, these are the things they want to see. They want to know the problem. They want to know what effort have you been putting through to solve it. Now, I told them what my career aspirations are. Oh, this is what I want to do. I want to help do these things. You tell them your career aspiration, and then mind you, it should be in line. Everything should be in line. What you studied, what you want to study, the problem. There should be a link. That's what makes it connected. You understand? So now, when I talked about my career aspirations, everything was in line. I said understanding and using these factors and uncertainties to make impactful contribution to the vast global development policies aimed at strengthening rural development, especially in Africa, dominates my career curiosities and aspirations. This is why I am choosing International Masters in Science, International Masters of Science in Rural Development as my course of study. You understand? Now, I've told them my curiosities and I've told them where my career path now, and I'm trying to link it that this is the reason why I'm choosing a master's in this program. Now, I did not stop there. I continued. I said this program will equip me with the right mindset and skill set to contribute to solving socio-economic, natural resource and agricultural issues in rural communities, aimed at alleviating poverty while protecting the environment. Now, if you look at this part, I didn't just write it. I wrote how my first degree has exposed me to these issues and helped me to understand these issues. Now, I'm trying to also tell them that it's because my first degree helped me understand these issues. It built my curiosity for my career aspiration. You understand? And now, my career aspirations is the reason why I'm choosing the master's. Now, are you seeing? I'm trying to link up everything. And I told them that I had to go further to tell them what this program is expected to teach me. Now, this is why you need to study the program. Now, you have to collect the keywords, what the program is expected to teach the students. You now bring it in. Now, the program is not just going to alleviate poverty, create more sustainable agricultural development. It's also aimed at alleviating poverty and also sustaining the ecosystem, that is the environment. Now, that's why I say my ending part, that's why I say the program will equip me with the right mindset and skill set to solve socio-economic, natural resource and agricultural issues in rural communities, which is aimed at alleviating poverty while protecting the environment. Did you see? I had to link up everything just to make them see that I'm not at the wrong place. I know what I'm coming from. Bringing in the course into this so that they'll see that, okay, this person is at the right, but this is what you do in your motivational letter. Link everything. But I talked about how my grades, that I was an excellent student. I talked about it. And I mentioned some of the courses I did in school that are connected to this course. Now, we do numerous courses in school, but look at the most striking thing. You can pick 5 courses that you did in school that is connected to the present course you're doing. Tell them during your bachelor's degree you studied this, and this did this to you. These courses, what did they do to you? You should be able to tell them what this course did to you that will be of benefit to you and to the school when you in the same paragraph, because now you're trying to praise yourself. In the next paragraph, now I talked about how I'm a high achiever, how I've been excellent in school, my leadership qualities, if I've done any leadership roles, had any leadership experience. Now I talked about if I've won any awards, leadership, anything you praise. Tell them the things you've done, you achieved, and achievements are connected, sometimes not connected, you can still talk about it. Now, another thing you can also talk about, if you have the leverage of number of words, you should talk about your research, the research experience in your thesis, your previous bachelor's degree. What kind of research did you do? I'm talking about this research because if your research is connected to what you want to study, then you should bring it in. But if it's not connected, you can let it be and talk about that research or maybe your publications. But if your research is connected, you should talk about it. It also helps them to know that you have solid research experience. So talk about your research experience, what you researched about, what did this research help you find, as the exposure it did to you. So you should talk about your research experience, very important. Now, another thing you should talk about is your volunteering experience and then your work experience. Did you do any volunteering exercise in that field? If you did, then you should talk about it. You also help them know that now this person did not just keep this knowledge, this person is out there working and putting the knowledge into you. Your letter should have all these things. You should not forget to talk about the program, the school, to praise them, tell them the things you expect to gain, how the program will expose you, any of your qualities. There are very unique things about everybody. You need to talk about it, let them know that this is what you can do. Now, before you end, like I said, you need to connect your beginning story with your ending and your beginning. So let me read how I ended. I said, since in the beginning I talked about reviving our agricultural sector, a way to sustain our economy. So I said, contributing to the development of a nation, it lies in the power of the people, not in the natural resources or the land or its properly implementing and utilizing these factors can either develop or underdevelop a nation. Now, I said with the cause, I'll be able to achieve my dreams of giving back to the society by championing sustainable rural development in Nigeria. I linked it. This is like an example. So all I'm saying is you should be able to craft your motivational letter in such a way that is connected from beginning to the end. Every bit of it, there's a connection till the end. There shouldn't be any breakage. Like, it's not like you studied something else, you want to do something else, you don't have experience in it. So that's why you should be very careful when you're picking the course you want to study, because you have to pick a course that, even if you don't have the work experience in it, your bachelor's degree should have a connection with it. It helps them know that you know what you're doing, that you're not just amazed or you're confused. And then it helps you craft a good motivational letter. Now, I stay with the story. Now, I talked about the problem. After I talked about the problem, I talked about my knowledge of the problem, the things I know the things that can help me solve the problem. That's where my academics came in. I talked about my school and my work experience, like a preparation of me solving the problem or the activities I've been doing to solve this problem. And then the work experience, the volunteering is also aimed towards solving this problem. And then before that, I now talked about the program. After I talked about the program, I now talked about how this program is going to be beneficial for me to achieve this goal. This goal of me solving this story I said in the first place, the first story I said, which is like the problem. Now, it could be a goal, it could be a problem you want to solve. So now I'm going to talk about this program and how this program will help me solve this problem. Now, after I talk about this, I'm going to talk about the school, how the school is the perfect fit for me, why the school is my best options. You understand? You can talk about how it gives you the nice environment. Like I said, you say things about the school. Talk about your research experience, and that is it comes after you talk about the program. After you talk about your research experience, that's if you talk about your exceptional qualities, why you're exceptional and stuff. That's where you sell off yourself. Not like sell off yourself. That's where you market yourself. Now, after that particular stage, you're going to be ending it, connecting your beginning to the end. Basically, that's it with your motivational letter. So I know that you're going to have a lot of questions and a lot of suggestions or anything, so I'm going to be expecting a lot of it from the comment section. Do well to drop your questions and your comments there. I'll be willing to assist and help. And mind you, this is my own format, my own idea of it. Every other person could have their ideas and their format. So don't say I'm saying if you don't do this like this, you wouldn't excel. I'm just giving you a format that I use and it helped me. So it doesn't mean you're not going to change any other thing, but like what I'm saying, there should be that consistency, there should be the connection. Each paragraph should be connected to the other paragraph. You shouldn't miss it. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to also do another video on CV and also the Europass CV.